Hello.
Today we are going to talk about the ROG Phone 2. We have two ROG Phone 2s with us. One for me, one for him.
Yep. And unfortunately, we don't have all the accessories with us, but anyhow.
Yeah, we're just going to talk about the phone itself.
Yeah, the key highlight is the phone itself, so...
Yes.
In
this video, I think we're going to take a bit of an unusual review route, and we're going to talk about the ROG Phone 2 by itself. And this is going to be a discussion of the ROG Phone
2. So to start off with, the box still the same like last year, but this time
the
unboxing experience is a little bit different.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have already seen the unboxing video, so yeah, you pull out like this. So and also be careful. You inside the box you get AeroActive Cooler 2. This is version 2. Yeah. Accessories box, which I'm just going to give you a picture here because
yeah, you have this case as well. Compared to last year we don't have a case.
Last year
that was sold separately.
Yeah.
And so this time we actually have the case actually now.
Yeah, and the case has been improved. I would say the design of the case now, some of you might say it's a bit like a bikini.
Yeah, because when you put it on, it actually allows you to access to the air triggers on the side here, while still, I mean, you should showcase your RGB logo at the back, and then you still have a protection at the top and some at the bottom corners.
Yeah.
So it does serve some purpose in terms of handling, because glass back is slippery.
It's still going to scratch. It's still glass.
Yeah, it's still glass, it's still scratch, but at least you have something that is easier to hold. And the most interesting part about this case is that you don't have to remove the back panel to install the AeroActive Cooler now. So I mean, I just have to like mount it on, and then yeah, it works.
Yeah, this is a huge improvement compared to the ROG Phone 1, where your case is separating into 3 parts last time. One top, one bottom, and one at the center that you need to pop it off every time you want to put in the AeroActive Cooler.
Yes, so I guess they actually made some improvement over here.
Yeah.
And with that being said, they actually include the case inside the box together with the AeroActive Cooler means a lot in this. And in terms of the physical dimension,
it's a bit thicker this time around.
I mean, considerably thicker and heavier.
Yeah, and that's for a good reason, because this thing packs a 6000 mAh battery, which we will go into deeper later. And the overall design of the phone itself is pretty much similar as last time.
I will say, I mean, they still use the same design concept. You remember last time they showed us they have like four different prototypes available, and then they choose this as their final revision for that. And they actually made some minor changes to the heating.
Yes, they did make some minor changes. I would say this time around it's a bit more flush and more, how to say, cohesive.
Cohesive? Yeah, I think that is the right word. And because they use a glass piece as well, compared to last time it was a piece of
metal.
So, well, you still get the copper piece underneath there, but still you get a larger piece of glass right now at the back. Not to say I don't like glass, because it is so difficult to handle when you're playing games, especially kind of slippery. So, well, and especially they changed the display size as well.
Yes,
this year
this is bigger.
So basically you can't use this phone with what was the accessory again? The last year they have a dual display, the twin view dock.
Yes.
So you cannot install the ROG Phone 2 to the twin view dock 1.
Yes.
And they have a twin view dock 2 for that.
Yeah.
So
speaking of the design itself, right? The glass back is very slippery, and to play the games while using air trigger is kind of impossible unless you have to squeeze your hand together, I guess.
And you need to cup the phone.
Yeah.
In your palm, something like that.
Yes, technically yes.
But since the phone is kind of thick and they have some hefty weight to it, so
it's easy to slip off lah.
Yeah, so to that sense.
So having the new Aero case here, yeah, this thing is called Aero case. It's not bikini case. You have extra grip while you are playing games. This thing is made out of matte plastic.
Matte plastic.
Yeah.
Not at least it's not something easily slip away, but
Yes.
actually at least you still get all the access to the USB Type-C port at the bottom, the audio jack at the bottom,
The side
and
ports.
the side ports. Even the microphone cutouts are properly prepared for you, so that is something.
Yes. And speaking of microphones, you have an extra microphone at the top here, which is beside the power button. And this is for playing games, especially when you're holding it like this. So there's one microphone directly above the screen.
Okay.
And also more Wi-Fi antenna lines across the entire phone itself, so
Yeah.
there is no holding it wrong way meme going on here. Yeah. Technically that's the whole point.
Yes, I mean that is exactly why they engineered this phone. I mean, just for the purpose of playing games on landscape, I would say. I mean,
Yeah.
to emphasize more, because air triggers are on this side, so you can actually use your index fingers for the triggers. Microphone at the front here, so that your communication with your teammates is better. And so far, and not to forget about the speakers.
Oh, the speakers.
Wow.
Dang, honestly speaking, this is the best sounding speaker on a smartphone ever.
True, I have to say, even at the somewhere around 50 or 60% volume,
It's really loud.
I mean, it's really loud and it's full of detail.
Yes.
Imagine when you play PUBG, you can actually trace your enemy's footstep through these speakers alone. I mean, I don't really need earphones, but still, I mean, speakers is annoying in some way, but then again, I'm really impressed by this. And especially when you watch videos as well. Wow, music videos, and I tried a couple of music videos and things like that. These stereo speakers are amazing, and I don't really understand why some of other smartphones start to drop stereo speakers nowadays.
Front-facing stereo speakers to be
Yeah.
specific. HTC used to have them, not sure what happened, and then the whole trend just died down.
Right down.
And this is really awesome. These two speakers, I am surprised by the amount of bass, and I can, like you mentioned, play PUBG with this thing without having an earphone. It still
works.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
it
fantastic.
still provides you some sort of unfair advantage.
it does, especially with the air triggers.
Air triggers as well.
And making the return, one of the squeeze sensors are also still here. So features, the function is still the same. So you just squeeze it to activate X mode and deactivate X mode. That's it.
Yeah, and speaking of X mode, personally, I think it is more like a gimmick to say, at least. First of all, when you enable X mode, I mean, you get all those of fancy animation,
Fancy animation, yes.
RGB.
I realized that you're still using the stock theme.
Yeah, they have two new themes,
This is the white one,
and this is the
standard
standard. Not to say it's standard. This is more like
default.
the ROG Phone 1 default
Yes, ROG Phone
skin.
1.
That is a.
That's the
it
ROG
comes with
Phone 2.
ROG Phone 2. And they have another one theme. That means you can choose to have a more Android, vanilla Android kind of experience.
Yes, they have that.
They have that, so that if you don't want your phone to have Junibio kind of interface, well, you can. They actually offer that as an option. So
It's more inclusive, I'd
yes,
say.
I say, and glad that ASUS internal there is someone actually is Android purist.
Yeah, someone who is aware that maybe you don't want all the gamery look.
Yeah, back to the X mode. It is the Armory crate.
Yeah,
Well,
I think this is a perfect segment to go into. I mean, performance-wise. So
Yeah.
this phone comes with Snapdragon 855 plus 12 gigs of RAM. For our version, it comes with 512 gigs of internal storage. UFS 3.0, by the way, fastest one
Yes.
yet. And in terms of performance, it is as expected. Top
yes,
notch.
in terms of really when we try to run games on this phone, even without the X mode, because the ASUS have mentioned that with X mode you get better performance on the chip and everything. But even with X mode turned off, we still can get consistent like 60 frames gameplay experience on PUBG.
Yeah.
And we don't really experience any kind of hiccups on the phone.
Yes, and that is with PUBG on the highest graphical settings, 60 FPS, consistently smooth throughout. And I actually tested with a bunch of games. Let me get my list here.
As per our understanding, even though the phone actually has a 120Hz display, still it depends on the game developer whether if they want to support 120Hz or not. Because like we said, PUBG, they limits at the 60 FPS. So even we try to force it to run at 120 FPS, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Consider, I mean, the game developer knows about it and they don't allow it to go further, which we have no idea why the limitation on this part.
Yeah, it's kind of like a hard lock by the developers themselves.
Yeah.
And there is absolutely no way that we can unlock it except for one special discovery, Pokemon Go.
Yeah, Pokemon Go is really special because for once, they only work in 30 FPS. And we have no idea why it works in 30 FPS on 60Hz screen until we test it out on this phone. We try to force it to run on 120Hz. Turns out it runs 60 FPS.
Yes, and it runs smoothly.
Smooth. And then we switch it because they have option for us to use 90Hz as well. So it runs at 45 frames per second. So
essentially the game kind of reads what refresh rate your display is using and then cut it by half.
So probably, I mean, same thing. We came back to the question where how the developer restricts the game in these ways.
Yes.
I mean, it's not like Windows. You can choose whether to enable or disable the VSync, something like that, or you can set your maximum frame rate, something like that. Because games like Overwatch, you can set up to like 300 FPS.
Yes, you can unlock it.
I mean, you can unlock it, but not in Android OS at the time being.
Yeah. So that's something for Google to consider. This is not ASUS' fault. And then, okay, back to gaming. There is a total of 3 different games in partnership with the ROG Phone 2. Shadowgun Legends, it will work with the Kunai gamepad accessory as well, and special content, and it also runs with 120Hz and has support for the TwinView Dock 2. Rock Band X Dive, it will have Kunai game support, run at 120Hz. We have no way of testing that, the game is still in early access.
Still, not available.
Many things are still in early access. And then Ashport 9 is something special. It will work with TwinView Dock 2 and there's something with, what was that again? Porsche 911 ROG branded car.
So when you log into your Ashport 9, you actually get a notification. They prompt you to say that, okay, welcome to ASUS ROG phone. So they give you this Porsche 911 as a free car.
Yeah.
So something for your collection, but still, I mean, the game runs at 60 FPS, so.
Yeah, actually that game is not really that intense in terms of graphics.
Yes.
But, well, ROG just gives you some branded content. And I'm kind of surprised they don't have 120Hz support on that game, so.
Well, true. That's why actually everything relies on the developer side right now. Given that we already have the hardware, now it's the terms of software. And
okay, I'm just going to run through my list of tested game with its FPS. PUBG Mobile, 60 FPS maximum graphics, no problem. Ashport 9, no problem. But I do realize that you can only set it to default visual quality. And Free Fire, I tested that game as well. 60 FPS at highest graphics. And I do remember Free Fire can run at 90 last year on the first ROG Phone.
ROG Phone 1, yes.
So I'm not too sure what happened. Developer decided to say nope.
Sometimes even we try to force it to run on the phone through the Armory Crate system, but sometimes the game itself still refuses to run it. I mean, that's not something we can do about.
And then I also tried Honkai Impact 3, 60 FPS, highest graphical settings, no issue. And here comes a bunch of lists that are shown in the ROG Phone 2 briefing. Shadow Fight 2, Temple Run 2. Subway Surfer, Real Racing 3, CSR Racing 2 is not. So those 5 games are running at 120 FPS. CSR Racing 2, 60. Mario Kart Tour, 60 FPS.
Yes.
Call of Duty Mobile, that game runs at 60. And the special one of all that I want to talk about is Shadowgun Legends. That game is running at 120Hz, and I managed to get it running on the ROG Phone 2. And this phone has quite a bit of problem of keeping up.
I mean, not to say have trouble keeping it up, because we're trying to push 120 frames.
It's kind of like uncharted territory.
I mean, that is actually the game that you can push the phone to its limit.
Yes.
So that means that if you want to try go for 120, yes, you can definitely want to challenge that range. And definitely, like what we said earlier, some other games, they are soft lock, something like that. Should we say soft lock? Kinda. So that's why, I mean, at this point, some of these, you are questioned that why do I need a 120Hz display when most of these games are soft locked to 60?
That's a really valid argument, and I would say the list of 120Hz games are growing, but it does take some time.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly like how you live at the edge of the technology. You get the best hardware and hoping that the developers pick up the pace to follow up whatever you have. But still, using the phone in 90 and 120Hz is a whole new different experience. I mean, we can see how some of those Twitter users, I mean, they swear by the OnePlus 7T Pros, the 90Hz
the 90Hz display.
They say they are spoiled by the 90Hz display.
And now you have 120.
You have 120. So...
And also do keep in mind, a lot of system apps do not run beyond 60. So I'm not too sure why you want to enable more than 60 FPS. And I think we should talk about the software, the Armory Crate. My first problem with it is this layout. I am really annoyed by it. There's no one way to list it out, all of my games at one page for ease of view and selection. And the Armory Crate is kind of your essential power management tool.
Yes, I mean, you can configure your game profiles. Let's say if you want to set this game limits at 60 frames per second, I mean, just to use 60Hz display, or otherwise if you want to push the CPU or GPU in this game to unlock it, to use it in different way, or if you want to set the temperature control on this game in a more aggressive way. So I think this is they try to make something as a one-stop center for all your game settings. But still, as you have mentioned just now, I mean, the game lobby definitely needs some UI update. Consider that.
Technically, you have to configure your games one by one on the Armory Crate now, and once you configure it, the app will have to follow if it allows.
Then, camera-wise, well,
not going to talk much about it. It works, but
it works.
Not the best.
Fine, not the best.
I'm just going to show you a bunch of pictures that we took.
Even the picture quality is fine with a standard camera and an ultra wide angle. Pretty usable. 2 cameras. Pretty usable. So
that's the whole camera. And I think before we end, we should talk about the biggest thing of all, the battery.
Yes.
So the ROG Phone 2 comes with 6000 milliamps of battery, which is the biggest of them all.
For the first time, I actually hold a 6000 milliamp battery phone. We know there is 10,000 and ridiculous Energizer phone, something like that. But those are not available for us to purchase. So this is more like you can actually purchase it, you have 6000 milliamp. And when you use it with 60 Hz refresh rate,
the battery life is fantastic.
The battery life is fantastic.
You can last 2 days, no problem.
2 days. I mean, in between, I have no need to recharge. I don't need to look for any recharge station or whatever. 2 days, no issue. When we switch over to 90 and 120 hertz,
Yeah, I just tested with 120.
well, things start to fall apart. I mean, obviously, those is like draining battery.
Yeah.
So
If you are doubling your refresh rate, that means your GPU have to double its work. So your battery life is going to drain like mad. Yeah.
I would say less, around 1 day or less, some kind of battery life, I would say.
Yeah, it can last you through the day, but you have to be careful.
Yeah, it still can last you for 1 day. Just that, I mean, if you play games, I mean, on and off for the day, I don't think it will last you from morning until night.
Yeah.
But again, you better off to set it inside the Armory crate for different game profiles if you need that kind of refresh rate.
Yes.
But honestly, using a phone with such a big battery, I mean, I don't have to worry about battery life anymore.
Yes.
Consider that I'm so used to the S9. Through that, right? And charging? What about charging?
Charging, okay. It uses last year's charger actually, still the 30-watt charger using Type C to Type C. And the charging speed of that is as shown here on the screen. And we asked ROG if it is using USB PD or not. And for some reason, when we tested with the Energy 60C, it is not using USB PD standards, or perhaps that charger standard is not in compliance. And overall, I think the charging speed is somewhat okay. Not the best, not the fastest, but somewhat okay for 6,000 milliamp hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need to charge every day, every night.
You do need to get ready if your phone has less than 10% battery. I mean, what kind of charger could provide you a sudden boost to 50% like less than half an hour? I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Because you still have this barrier to overcome. I mean, still physics.
Yeah,
there's no way.
Remember, 50% of 6,000 milliamp hours is 3,000.
Like 3,000. How is it possible to like charge 3,000 in less than half an hour?
Yeah, and
so, right. I mean, it definitely, if there's such kind of a charger, it will definitely hurt your battery in long run because of the excess heat they have to go through for that. So, yeah.
And I also realized one thing: the ROG Phone 2 does not support wireless charging, and that is because of the cooling system inside. There's a lot of copper pads and whatnot that is interfering with the wireless charging, so they did not include it.
Yeah, too bad for that. And I mean, speaking of cooling, right, the Aeroactive cooler itself is
Still the same as last year.
Still the same as last year. I mean, one annoying thing about the Aeroactive cooler is the front, the Republic of Gamers, the text actually lights up.
It lights up really brightly.
It lights up brightly, especially gamers tend to game in dark rooms. I don't know. And then it is blindingly bright.
Yes.
Serious. So, and we don't have any option to like disable the front.
Yeah, if you want to disable, then you have to disable all the
ROG like things. So it does provide some cooling feature. I mean, ability to the phone.
Oh yeah.
In that
okay.
sense.
Getting back to the thermal performance. When we play Shadowgun Legends, it can run about 100 FPS ish in combat. That's the maximum it can go. And the phone actually hit 50 degrees Celsius, which is really hot to the touch. Even the touchscreen itself is not comfortable. And when we slap on that Aeroactive cooler too, it can cool about 3 to 4 degrees, so it's about 46.
Yeah, so it actually works in a way. So at the end of the day, this ROG Phone 2 is more like an experience, that I would say.
Yeah, and I would say if we don't take the price into consideration and talk about the value it gives in terms of gaming features, it's pretty good. It's more or less the same as last year, but ROG really improved upon what they have, which they done a good job. Like the air triggers, you can now rest your fingers on it if you want to. And a bunch of new accessories, updated accessories.
Yes, updated accessories, bigger twin wheel dock, and the new kunai
Gamepad. Yeah.
things like that. So to say the least, they are really making this phone targeted at mobile gaming crowd.
Yeah, hardcore mobile
gamers.
So
And things like that.
considering now that you have the Google Game Pass and whatnot, I would say the ROG Phone 2 is still up in the air at this point because of lack of support from those developers. So I'm not too sure if you have to subscribe to Google Game Pass if it's available in Malaysia.
Well, it is really a difficult thing to say because even with Google Game Pass, things like that, I mean, at the end of the day, like what we had mentioned before, the game developer have to support the hardware we have right here. So, well, because a phone is still a general purpose device we use for everyday life. So if you're really into mobile gaming, things like that, maybe you can go for the Switch, something like that.
Switch. Yeah.
I mean, it is mobile enough.
This is really mobile. I got this case for portable gaming.
Yep.
But if you want to use the kunai gamepad, of course, you have to change quite a lot of stuff on the ROG Phone 2. Firstly, this case is not going to be used. You have another case, and then you have to bring your kunai gamepad and slide it in. It cannot work wirelessly like the Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons, so that's a few differences.
Yes. So, I mean, it is different. So what do you guys think of the ROG Phone 2?
Yeah.
I mean, are you a hardcore mobile gamer to a point that you really want to have a proper gaming phone like this?
And yeah, that's pretty much it. For me personally, I would still go for the Switch because it's cheaper, better games, and well, just better ecosystem overall.
True, like what you say. So I would say this is more like for those who want to play mobile games on landscape. I mean, for me personally, I play just gacha games, so I don't really need this kind of controls. So let us know what you guys think down in the comment section below.
Yeah.
And
I think that's about it.
Yeah, like this video if you like it.
Subscribe. And we will see you in the next video.